One of the most common questions I've gotten is, how should I handle it when my parents or my family won't are not supportive of me in my educational career? And I want to take some time and answer that. I've gotten quite a few questions about that, but I don't know what I've done with my list of questions from TikTok. So hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And again, one of the questions that I've got, and mostly it's come from women, where I've gotten questions like, I have these educational goals. I'm going to school. I'm going to grad school. And one of the things that I've noticed is that my family is not supportive of me and my endeavors. Like they won't help me financially. I think I even got a question where a woman talked about wanting to post like a GoFundMe so she could fundraise for her education and things like that. And her mother told her no, that she couldn't do that. And I wanted to answer that. So one of the things that life will teach you, one is that it's a journey. Two, that everybody's not meant, it's not going to be with you every step of the way, meaning that people aren't going to support you along with your endeavors. And you want to, in my professional opinion, you want to process emotions that you have around that. Of course, it's very hurtful. It is, it's like, what is it about me? But I would encourage you, number two, not to personalize it and make it about you. A lot of times when people are not supportive of your dreams, your goals, and your ambitions, it becomes more about like, unless there's other things going on, like for example, if they're like raising your kids or something like that. But if there's nothing else going on where they're having to pick up the slack for you in your life somewhere, or they're having to take on the labor of doing a lot of the work for you, if all that kind of stuff is ruled out, a lot of times people won't support you on your goals and endeavors because, one, maybe they've never had support in their goals or endeavors. Two, maybe they weren't actually able to live out their goals or endeavors. Three, they are concerned about you becoming better, so to speak, or outgrowing them, or the world that the two of you are in some way. So there could be a bit of there can be some envy or competitive nature that's sort of wrapped into it, and so they don't really like that, and that could definitely come from even your parents. I think I've done a few posts that are very similar to this in some way, where I've talked about where your parents won't clap for you, and other things like that, podcasts and so on and so forth over the years. But it's all very intertwined in that way, and that people can be envious of you, or they just don't want to do it. They want attention for themselves. It could be some of that. It could be any number of those things, right? Where it's like, I prefer to have the attention on myself. I don't like to give my child attention. I don't want to support my child, but either way, this person is showing you who they are, and you need to take notice. You need to heed to what you're being shown, and you need to move around. Don't beg for them to get on board. Don't beg for crumbs of affection and love and support from them. They're basically showing you, for whatever the reason, they're not going to give it to you. And if it's a group of family, I certainly wouldn't take it personal. And do what you do what you have to do. See, what most people aren't going to tell you is when you're super ambitious, which is wonderful, by the way, but when you're super ambitious, a lot of times you have to go it alone. Everybody's not meant to be your buddy and hold your hand and go the entire way. Some people have that, yes, but you never want to compare yourself to people who have, all the support if you don't, right? Because you two are not in the same, and you don't want to compare yourself to anybody else anyway. You're two different people, two different life circumstances. Things are just different. But everybody's not meant to go with you all the time. And so, a lot of times it's a testament to who you are when you have to build yourself, build your life, brick by brick on your own. And it's okay to do that, albeit it might be lonely, it might be hurtful, but just remember, this is your journey. You want to remember who was there and who was not, and you want to act accordingly, and you want to just let go of the idea that they're going to be there to support you, they're going to be there for you throughout your endeavors, because they're not. They're showing you that they're not, and you have to pay attention to that. And that's unfortunately the downside to being ambitious sometimes. It doesn't mean that you're any less lovable, any less unique, or that your goals are bad or anything like that. So do what you can. Try not to internalize it, and keep going on your journey as you see fit. If you find yourself getting too emotionally caught up in that, unfortunately, you won't be able to conquer all of your ambitions. So my advice would be to find support along the way within your ambitions and things like that. If you want to be a mom, try to find a mom group, a group of women who are moms, whether you can start with Facebook groups and things like that online, and then try to find women who are local to you. If you want to go to college, if you're trying to get your master's, try to find mentors for you within your program. So whether that be college advisors, if you want to enhance your finances or grow your finances, definitely try to find mentors. You could start for free at your local bank, and then, go to find a financial planner. You could, find someone who invests in stocks and CDs and things like that, who can advise you or talk to you about that. You can find a group of women. And again, this stuff you can start online and then grow with in-person groups. You could stay within your state. You maybe can go to somebody who's out of state. If you want to start a business, get a mentorship within your business field, or get a mentor in business. So for example, you can go to the SCORE program, and that's in most counties and most states, and get a business consultant, a business advisor for free with a lot of things that you're doing. So just try to find people on your path that can mentor you, support you, and show up for you in other ways, as opposed to trying to force family or friends or things like that to support you along the way. They're not going to understand. They're not going to show up. And it's more about them than it is about you. Hope that helps. Thanks so much for asking.